Here we are on Christian TV, so we're talking about God, right? But we're also talking about sexual brokenness. When people go, how do you do that? Well, it's really important to do that because God gave us sex.
I was addicted to pornography, and that started as a young man.
The more I connected with my gay professors and other gay students, the more I had a sense of belonging.
Recently, a question was asked of me, what is keeping you from pure worship? And I didn't have an answer for that. And I thought about it, and it's still with me. But I think my wounded heart.
When we think of Christians and trying to live a righteous life and to really be free from our past, what is the major issue? Where is the battle at? The battle is in the mind.
It is a trustworthy statement, worthy of all acceptance, that Christ came into the world to save sinners. He saves sinners, but he breaks the power of sin.
I still had to work out attraction. I had to work out the fact that some guys would still be attractive to me.
The key to me knowing who Jesus is was falling in love with him. And I think I fell in love with him when I knew that he absolutely loved me. Like 100%, and when I started reading the Bible.
I don't know a lot about Christians, but I'm pretty sure they don't like strippers. So I showed up to class thinking I'd bluffed that one up. But she just loved me, and she just, it was through her friendship that I began to experience the unconditional love of God.
I focused more on him than I did at things that I was struggling with. I focused more on his heart, spending time with him, than what I did 3 weeks ago. And I would just focus on God and set my gaze and my affection and my energy and my time and my thoughts to the Lord and see him.
God is love, and he came to us in Jesus, and Jesus in his death and resurrection joined us in the pit and took us out with him.
Sex is hugely making them feel desired. It's this enormous switch that's flipped inside of them, this emotional component. But the problem is because it's happening outside of that lifetime marriage commitment, they start worrying that this girl is going to go give this powerful feeling to somebody else.
Looking at the life of Job and him making this commitment that he was not going to look to the left or the right, but he was going to continue to look forward. And what a great challenge that is, to not let there even be a hint of sexual immorality in our lives. These are time-tested principles of sexual integrity.
I remember just waking up. You know, I had did cocaine and everything the night before. I had an encounter with a female. And I remember just waking up, and I just remember just feeling like refreshed. I woke up, I had no desire for cocaine. I had no desire for females or anything. And it was just like God had just cleansed me and purged me on the inside. And I was like, God, have you really set me free?
Human trafficking is becoming more of a hot button issue. But sometimes I think we try to be too polite about it in the way we express what happens to girls, the way we're so cautious of it. And I think it dulls our senses a little bit. And I think the church needs to be brought aware and be challenged to share this information.
You can talk and talk and talk, but if you don't know what a spirit of adoption is, you can keep falling back to your orphan lifestyle where no one loves you, so you have to sell yourself. No one really cares, so you find fulfillment looking for Father's love, looking for some kind of love in all the wrong places.
Most people all over the world, they are struggling with a proper view of God. And if you do not get the proper view of God, you will not see how God sees you.
It would have been ridiculous for Jesus going around in first century Palestine and saying, you men stop having sex with other men, you women stop having sex with other women. They would say, who's doing that? Nobody's questioning it. We all know that there's a very strong rejection of it in the Hebrew scriptures. So let's move on to another subject.
I didn't want to lose that friendship. I didn't want to lose the relationship. I wasn't ready to reckon the cost of that. I really wasn't ready to give up my sin. The good thing about it was once the situation was exposed, you couldn't go back into that same scenario. I mean, I couldn't.
There has been immediately a shift to seeing more and more people question whether they were really Christians to begin with. And that including some pastors.
You know that you might be feeling something pleasurable, even though at times you may think, but I'm really not supposed to be doing this. But again, the body was created by God. Your body was doing what it's supposed to do, and that is responding to sexual touch for the purpose of responding in marriage. This is not an area where you are to feel guilty.
Oh God, I want to know you, not just know about you. I want to experience your love, not just believe about it. I really want to know you.
One by one, souls began to come and say to me, thank you for sharing that, for saying that, for being bold enough to say that in this setting. And I knew then what God had in store, that He was going to raise up not only my voice, there are many, that He's raising up a new nation who has experienced this thing. And so now these people can't look at me the same way they might look at a Baptist preacher or a Pentecostal preacher who's not walked in those shoes. They can't look at me and say, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's just being prejudiced against me. They know I was in the same thing that they were in. They know that I was stuck in the same flesh, struggle that they were stuck in. But I am free.